the Moment for Women talk show, an interactive platform that educates, engage, and empower women in Africa. Today on the show, we'll be looking at a very critical matter that has affected the lives of so many women. An issue that has torn so many marriages apart and has made women to take drastic decisions in life. And that is the issue of infertility. Well, in Nigeria, there's a general perception that infertility is a spiritual problem. Well, the issue is that most women prefer to seek spiritual help rather than the medical solutions. And therefore, in order to better understand this concept and have better education on what infertility is all about, we have a special guest today who will be educating, enlightening, and empowering us. Before we meet her, I would like you to join us on Facebook at Moment for Women and also follow us on Twitter at Moment for Women. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Moment for Women TV. Now, let's meet our special guest for today. I remain your humble host, Chisom Akumefule. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on the Moment for Women talk show. If you're just joining us on the show, we're looking at a critical matter that has affected so many women and so many marriages out there. And I told you before we went on the break that we have a special guest who will give us better insights and educate us on this issue that we want to talk about today. And that is infertility. Well, our special guest today is a beautiful woman. She's a health practitioner. She holds a bachelor degree in pharmacy from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. And she's no other person than the beautiful Mrs. Salami Adejoke Omobolanle. Welcome to the show, ma.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you once again, ma, for being with us on the show.
You're welcome.
It's an honor. First of all, ma, I would like you to share your view on infertility, because generally there is a myth surrounding infertility. For instance, in Nigeria, when a woman cannot give birth, let's say she's barren, there's this, people usually connect it like she's a witch, and people usually attach it to a spiritual cause. So thereby they're neglecting the medical aspect. So I would like to ask, is infertility a spiritual cause? Because there's usually a social stigma left on that woman. So is it a spiritual cause?
No. It's not a spiritual problem. It's just one of those health challenges that somebody might just come across in life. So we are made of body, soul, and spirit. So there could be any issue. It could be an ovulation issue. It could be hormonal issue. It could be uterine issue. It could be any issue. So it is not a spiritual problem.
So people should stop calling young women who cannot conceive witches.
They should stop.
That's a general thing in Nigeria.
They should stop that.
Thank you very much for that wonderful information, ma'am. I would like you to talk about is on the signs of infertility, because so many young women, so many women usually say they don't know that, they don't see it coming. Is it observable? Are there things that a woman should take note of? Are there things that she should observe in her body, maybe body changes or so?
Alright.
Thank you very much.
The signs and symptoms are usually observable. It's just that women, especially when we are younger, we don't tend to attach it to our fertility. Irregular menstrual cycle is a sign. Your menstrual cycle is not regular. An average menstrual cycle should be like 28 days. If you're having 39 this month, 14 next month, is a sign of infertility. If you're not ovulating, it's also a sign. For every woman that is ovulating, she must have a cramp, a slight cramp at the middle of her cycle. She should also be on a lookout for that. Cervical mucus is another one. You should be able to observe your cervical mucus. At ovulation time, the cervical mucus will be more slippery, whitish, and will draw more than the normal mucus. And several other signs like that. Even extremely short menstrual cycle, maybe like 10 days, every 10 days you are seeing your period, is a pointer to infertility.
Thank you very much for that wonderful answer. Viewers out there, I know we are learning one or two things from what our guest is telling us on the show. The First of all, I would like you to note that infertility is not a spiritual problem. It should not be attached to any spiritual problem. And women who are barren or who cannot give birth should not be tagged as witches, because infertility is not a spiritual problem. And then young women and other women too should also take note of signs, especially things they were not observing before, any changes in their bodies. They serve as pointer to infertility, especially menstruation, shorter menstrual cycles. So women should take note of these pointers. So right now, ma, there's this word you mentioned before. What's it called? Cervical mucus.
Okay, cervical mucus.
Yes.
It's an indication for ovulation. Every woman that ovulates should be able to observe a changes in her cervical mucus. At ovulation, the cervical mucus becomes slippery, whitish, and stretchy. It stretches more than normal. It's something that you easily feel at the mouth of the vagina, which is the cervix. Once you go to the toilet, you want to ease yourself, or you are cleaning up, you easily see it. It just comes like that. It's whitish. It's colorless, stretchy, and slippery. It's a sign for ovulation.
Okay. And is there any changes in that cervical mucus that can point to infertility?
No. If you are not experiencing it, if you are not seeing it,
okay,
that means you might not be ovulating. That's what it means.
Oh.
Because once you are seeing it, it happens at the peak, at the mid-cycle. And mid-cycle is ovulation. Okay. So any woman that is not observing it might not be ovulating.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned that the cervical mucus is an indicator of ovulation. So does it mean that if a woman has her normal menstruation without the cervical mucus, she cannot get pregnant?
Because a woman can be having a normal menstrual flow without ovulating. So if she's not ovulating, she will not observe the cervical mucus, but she will have a normal menstrual flow. I have friends that, in fact, somebody told me particularly that in 3-4 months, she doesn't ovulate, and yet her menstrual flow comes normally.
And that person cannot get pregnant?
You can't get pregnant.
Can actually have a normal menstrual flow without ovulating?
Yes.
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing it.
It happens in some women that their ovaries don't release eggs monthly. I just told you I have a friend, and she married 2014, 15.
Okay.
Up till now, she has not gotten any issue. In fact, she has started attending gynecological clinic. So a woman must ovulate. If you are not, and it's possible for you to be having your normal menstrual flow without ovulating.
So, what are the causes of infertility? Is there a kind of food or drugs that can affect the fertility of a woman? What are the major causes of infertility?
Thank you very much. There are several causes of infertility. I'll start from food, drugs. Actually, for now, I've not heard of any food that causes infertility. But drugs like alcohol, tobacco smoking, caffeine. You know, coffee, Nescafe contains caffeine, and these too can cause infertility. So those are the drugs or chemical compounds that can cause infertility. I will repeat myself: alcohol, tobacco smoking, or caffeine. It is not good for women to consume so much of these items. And then some other factors are problems in ovulation. If a woman is not ovulating, then she will not be able to conceive. Hormonal problem is another cause, because for every woman to ovulate, there must be an hormonal connection right from the from the brain, from the pituitary gland, stimulating the ovaries to release eggs. So if there is an hormonal imbalance right from the brain, then there will be an issue of infertility. Excess weight is another cause. If a woman is so fat, fat cells will not allow ovulation. Even somebody that is too lean. I
thought it's only the fat people.
No. Too much fat, too lean, there will not be ovulation, because all these things are factors. Even people that are working in factories, ladies that are not married, that are working in factories, exposing themselves to chemicals, mercury, lead, DDT, they are chemicals that will not allow women to be fertile.
Okay, ma, what about unsafe abortion?
Yes, that is another point, because many young ladies engage in unsafe abortion, and unsafe abortion can lead to any disruption in the fallopian tubes. It could damage the uterus, it could damage the fallopian tubes, it could even go ahead and damage the ovaries. So unsafe abortion is also a cause of infertility. Another one is infection. Many ladies, they will have maybe a toilet infection or pelvic inflammatory disease, and then they will just patronize quacks instead of them to go to maybe run a test to know what is actually happening. Maybe they are having discharge. It's not a crime. You could maybe visit a public toilet and thereby have an infection, but go and treat yourself well with the right antibiotics, not just anything, any quack, whatever you give me, I take. No, they should get themselves tested and then treat.
So, ma, what are the solutions to infertility?
I will start by saying the solution is taken from the cause. You know, there are different causes of infertility. I said earlier on that it could be an infection. So if it's an infection, first thing is the woman in question must go through tests, investigation of various kinds to know what actually is her own problem or cause of infertility. So after knowing the cause, she will now go ahead and be treated. So if, for instance, it's an infection, the woman will be placed on antibiotics that will be able to take care of the infection. Perhaps it's a blocked fallopian tubes. She could undergo a surgical procedure to open up the fallopian tubes. If it's an ovarian cyst, they will attend to it. So there are different solutions depending on the cause. So I would like to go over them again. If it's an infection, the woman will get treated. If it is a blocked fallopian tubes, she can go through a surgical procedure. Then if it's an hormonal problem, then there are some drugs, hormonal drugs, that can correct any hormonal imbalance. And that one will also help her to be able to ovulate.
Well, okay, shed some light on in vitro fertilization, that is IVF.
Alright, IVF is an effective way of handling infertility, especially if the male factor comes in. Maybe the man has a low sperm count or whatever. Once there is a male factor or maybe there is endometriosis, then you can opt out for IVF. IVF is a procedure, highly technical. Just like the name implies, it is to conceive, to bring the sperm of the man and the egg or the ovum of the woman and then fertilize them in a test tube. The fetus will be cultured in the test tube for a while and then will be transferred. When it has been confirmed that it's a viable fetus or embryo, then the embryo will be moved from the test tube into the body of the woman. So the woman will now carry it to term. So that's IVF.
Well, I'd like you to talk about this. Is the treatments that you just mentioned, are they affordable? Because there are some women that will look at it that, oh, it's expensive going to the hospital to acquire these medical drugs or whatever. They just go and, adopt the traditional or local practices. So I want to know what is in place to ensure accessibility and affordability of the treatment.
It is readily available. And affordability depends on the purse of the couple in question. There was a time that IVF was as high as 1.1, but I'm hearing now that it's about 400, 500, with 400, 500,000, you can have an IVF done. In fact, there are some centers all over Lagos that have even subsidized the price. So it is affordable. It depends on what the person wants.
So, is there anything that government is putting in place to, maybe give free access to this IVF, especially this IVF approach? Is there anything to give for couples that cannot even afford that 4 450,000 naira you're mentioning right now.
I understand, but you know our country, everything you must do on your own. So, so far so good. I've not heard of any government hospital that is giving that or doing that for people free. You go, you pay it, you pay the money, and then you get it done by yourself.
Thank you, ma, for that educative answer. Well, on a final note, I would like you to tell us, what is your advice to women who are presently facing infertility challenge?
To be very candid, infertility can be very, very frustrating. Yes. But my advice is they should calm down. Once you are able to go through your investigation and you have taken care of the medical aspects, then calm down. Relax. Because emotional stress, mental pressure, or emotional pressure could also lead to infertility. If you are too anxious, they should calm down and then if it is to lose weight, they should lose weight. If it is to, since they have gone through so many investigations, they should go ahead and then take whatever medication that they need to take, if it is a hormonal problem, and then if it is a surgical issue, they should go through it, and then they should calm down and have peace of mind. Because even without peace of mind, there might not be conception.
Exactly. Well, thank you, ma, for that wonderful information.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And then to our viewers out there, I would like you to know that if you are currently you are experiencing infertility, please calm down. Watch your stress level, reduce your stress, watch your weight, and also stay off harmful drugs, stay off harmful substances. Alcoholism, avoid it, and then try to exercise more. So on this account, we're bringing the show to a close, but I know that you have a lot of questions, and that's why we'll be leaving this number for questions and comments. You can reach us on 081-6962-0673. I'll say that again, 081-6962-0673. So, do have a lovely day. Thank you for staying with us on the show. Once again, ma, thank you very much. It's an honor having you. Well, I remain your humble host, Chiso Akumefwe.